6.
Oh.
Children are creepy in any context, true. So any urban legend including black-eyed children is bound to turn some heads. In the late 90s, a journalist named Brian Bethel was working in his town of Abilene, Texas, when he encountered something that he'll remember until his last day. He was parked outside a movie theater when 2 children knocked on his window. For reasons he couldn't understand, he was completely gripped with fear. He rolled down the window and the kids asked for a ride back to their house so they can get cash for the movie. His fear made him hesitate, but the kids were persistent. They kept saying weird things like they weren't armed or anything. Once Bethel looked back at the kids, he was terrified to see.
What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, man. If you guys know the drill, anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank you, the supporters, man, who's tapping in with us, man. I'm seeing the growth. Who's subscribing, hitting that post notification bell, man, liking the videos. You follow me on my social medias, man. Like I said, each and every video, you guys help support. I see it. It pushes us in the algorithm, man. We can find more fellow seekers. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best. Let's seek the truth.
If you haven't heard any crazy stories from Fresno, prepare for this one.
Okay.
There's video evidence. Back in the late 90s/early 2000s, weird sightings of a strange cryptid have been seen around Fresno, California.
Ooh.
However, in 2007, a surveillance video caught these strange creatures on camera with really long legs and small heads.
No.
I'm going to be inserting the video in like 2 seconds, so you have been warned. The show Fact or Faked actually did an episode on these creatures to see if they were real or not. These professional paranormal investigators could find no evidence that this was faked in any sort of way. They deemed these creatures to be completely unexplainable, and some people even call them the protectors of the forest.
Whoa.
What makes these creatures super eerie is the fact that we don't even know what they stem from, what their origin story is, where they came from, what they are, why they exist. But they do continue to pop up around this area, so if somebody was faking this, they would have to be really persistent. Don't forget to comment your hometown so you can be featured in the next Urban Legends video.
I just realized maybe like it's like every hometown has an urban legend of Fresno crawlers. You know, different things for different states. Man, that's creepy. That's eerie, man. Like I said, they know why they exist, why they're there. Like I said, they said they had a team behind it and they couldn't prove if it was like faked or not. So should we dive deeper into that one, man? Fresno crawlers? I'll have to keep that on the list, man. We don't go to Fresno no more, bro. Or we drop it straight through it.
This is why you need to watch out for a man with orange eyes. Orange eyes is actually a cryptid that you can find in Ohio. It's reported to be over 11 feet tall and 1,000 pounds. It is said that Orange Eyes lives under a Cleveland cemetery, and the first time he was ever seen was on March 28th of 1959. On that day, he attacked 2 teenagers that were hanging out at Lover's Lane. They claimed he was large and hairy and had these bright orange eyes. He also had this matted black hair and a strange odor. He was last spotted in 1991 when he appeared to 2 fishermen in Mill Creek. And afterwards, he apparently ran into a nearby woods and he was never seen again. Some people believe he's actually an alien, but to this day, he still remains a mystery.
Orange eyes, man. We believe that? He said in 1959. That was a long time ago. You don't know if people making up stories or not. Maybe say he was attacking lovers at the Lover's Lake. You know, these cases, seekers, man, like I said, sometimes we gotta dive deep into them, man. Some are facts, some are cap. But we keep our mind open. Tap in with us. You will learn some things.
Urban Legends Part 3. The Japanese legend of Hanako-san. It is about the spirit of a young girl named Hanako-san who haunts school bathrooms. Children may challenge other classmates to summon this spirit. Her physical appearance varies, but she's often described as having a bob and wearing a red dress. Her origins also vary. Some sources say she was a child who was murdered in the school bathroom by a stranger. Other sources say she was a girl who committed suicide in her school bathroom. So how do you summon this spirit? It is said that individuals must enter a girl's bathroom, knock 3 times on the 3rd stall and ask if she is present. If she is there, she will reply with "Yes, I am." The individual may then witness the appearance of a bloody hand. This hand may pull the individual into the toilet, and this may lead to hell. Or the individual individual may be eaten by a 3-headed lizard.
Ooh. We don't summon no demons around here. People do that.
Today we're talking about the white stripe. During the 1980s, this was a popular legend in Japan, and it scared a lot of children into not wanting to get their ears pierced.
Ooh.
So a young girl wanted to get her ears pierced, but her parents were against it because they thought she was too young. After a lot of begging, her parents finally agreed to let her. They gave her money and told her to go to the jewelry store at the mall to get them pierced. But instead, she decided to keep the money and do it herself. With the help of her best friend, they heated a needle and did the piercings on their own. It was painful, but she was happy she got them pierced. However, sometime after, her ears got irritated and swollen, specifically her left ear.
Damn.
She went to the restroom to take a closer look and noticed something sticking out. It was a white string sticking out of her earlobe. She began to pull on it and realized it had no end. Finally, she used a pair of scissors to cut the string. Then everything went black. She couldn't see and she was rushed to the ER. She was examined and that's when the doctor said, "I'm sorry, you'll be blind for the rest of your life." That wasn't a white string, that was an optic nerve.
What? Really, a damn optic nerve? How'd that turn? That was a chilling ending. They said it was used to scare people on the kids in Japan, but pulling on a white thing and it was an optic nerve the whole time. She went blind. We're gonna have to check that one out.
The urban legend of the popular movie Totoro by Ghibli Studios. People say that Totoro is actually a Shinigami, which is the god of death. And if you can see the god of death, it means you're either dead or about to be dead, which is why only a few people in the movie can see Totoro. So in the movie, when Mei goes missing and a sandal is found, Mei actually drowned. Mei's sister Satsuki can't accept the fact that Mei is dead, so she looks for Totoro and opens death's door, which eventually leads her to Mei. So when she does this, she basically gives up her life. Together, they visit their mother in the hospital. And so the reason why that their mother can see them is because she's also ill and close to death. Also take note that Mei and Satsuki both don't have shadows at the end of the movie, and only dead people don't have shadows. A lot of people say that this movie is based off of the Sayama incident in 1963. Ghibli confirmed this to be false, but it's still a really popular urban legend.
Crazy. Crazy ass movie plot.
Texas, the first ever documented black-eyed kid encounter in 1996.
Oh.
Children are creepy in any context, true. So any urban legend including black-eyed children is bound to turn some heads. In the late 90s, a journalist named Brian Bethel was working in his town of Abilene, Texas, when he encountered something that he'll remember until his last day. He was parked outside a movie theater when two children knocked on his window. For reasons he couldn't understand, he was completely gripped with fear. He rolled down the window and the kids asked for a ride back to their house so they can get cash for the movie. His fear made him hesitate, but the kids were persistent. They kept saying weird things like they weren't armed or anything. Once Bethel looked back at the kids, he was terrified to see their eyes had turned pitch black. They started screaming at him that they could only come in the car if he invited them in. And he quickly drove away. Smart. As a journalist, he spread the word and was surprised when other people wrote back saying they had experienced something similar. No thanks.
Black-eyed kids? We driving away, Seekers.
Today we're talking about the Mickey Mouse Lost episode. The episode is from 1929, and before I start, I just want to give a warning that the way I'm going to be describing it is kind of graphic. So it's called Strolling in Town. It starts off with Mickey walking for a while, and then he suddenly sees a man. It gets kind of dark really fast. He starts to take the man's eyes out, and gets covered in blood but just walks off. He then sees Minnie and takes her to go see the man. Minnie begins to laugh and then notices the man's bloody eyes. Minnie then asks Mickey why he did this. Mickey then holding the bloody eyeball says, "I thought it was a toy." The man laying there begins to laugh. Mickey then pulls out a knife and a gun and tries to kill the man. He shoots the man and stabs him in the arms and in his head. The man begins to scream and Mickey yells at him to shut up. The man is covered in blood. The camera zooms into Mickey as he says, "Go and die." The man whispers, "I hate you," then slowly dies. Mickey then throws the weapons at the man and leaves. An ambulance shows up. Minnie then asks Mickey if he wants to go to her house. He agrees and then the episode ends.
The Lost episode, we definitely have to search that up, Seekers, and
Urban
confirm
legends
that.
from every state. The Hatchet House in Portal, Nebraska. Legend says that in the early 1900s, a school teacher went mad and decapitated all of her students, and placed their severed heads on each of their desks. She then removed each one of their hearts and threw them off a bridge into a nearby river. The locals call it Heartbeat Bridge. As you walk across the shuddering boards, it sounds like little tiny heartbeats. What state is next?
That's why I see, you know, that idea, man, of teachers or something getting weapons and stuff. That's why I was like, you gotta be careful with that, because if a teacher snaps, then the students are in trouble. And we just heard that dark ass case. Heartbeat Bridge, man. Damn. Imagine walking over that bridge and knowing the history of it.
The creepiest urban legends from around the world, part 3. Vietnam, the bloodthirsty grandma next door. It's said that in a rural village, a couple noticed that the meat they hung outside was going missing at night. So they decided to stay up late, and what they saw was the sick elderly woman from next door leap over their fence and begin devouring the meat with a demonic look on her face. A few days later, the couple went out of town, leaving their child with a babysitter. But upon their return, they heard screams coming from inside the house. When they ran in, they saw the old woman eating their child.
What the hell?
The real story.
This world.
So the story starts off with a mom and a daughter. The daughter gets diagnosed with oral cancer. The mom does anything in order for the daughter to get cured. But through hospital bills and treatment, the daughter only seems to be getting worse. Desperate, the mom starts turning to satanic rituals. She ends up making a deal with the devil. The deal was that if the devil cured her daughter, the mom would then have to make a cartoon character that kids all over the world would fall in love with, subconsciously letting the devil into their lives.
So last week I talked about the urban legend of the black-eyed children, but today we're talking about the far creepier white-eyed children. Now these creatures have a similar appearance to the black-eyed children. They're very skinny, pale-looking children, but instead of their eyes being totally black, their eyes are totally white. The black-eyed children you have to invite into your home, but the white-eyed children appear there on their own. These creatures actually possess the ability to control your mind. One theory is that you actually do let them in without even thinking about it because they control your mind and make you open the door. Once these kids are in your house, they're usually standing very still in a corner or against a wall just staring at you. And they can actually communicate with you through their minds. And they usually tell you that somebody you know is about to die, and then they disappear into thin air. Some people think these children are angels, others think they're demons, and some think that they're aliens. But all of their predictions come true.
We got the white-eyed kids, man. We got the black. What is next? Orange, blue, man. This about to be the whole freaking color spectrum. Like, what the hell? These theories, man. Whatever they call them, we gonna have to check them out, man. I've seen some like cases of the black-eyed kids, but this is my first time hearing white-eyed kids, and they have telepathy. I don't know if we believe that one. Hey man, this world, you never know.
The banshee is a female spirit in Irish folklore whose bone-chilling scream is said to be an omen of death. If you hear her shrieks, it is said that a member of your family will pass away soon. Some people believe that each family actually has a banshee of their own that watches over them. Some stories say that instead of appearing as an omen of death, they appear to celebrate someone's death. They often appear as a woman dressed in a gray or white cloak with reddened eyes from constantly weeping. Can relate. The banshee is a tale I'm quite familiar with, and I always imagine them to be more of a nervous creature rather than a vicious one. Their job is basically to let people know that their time is up, so I always imagine them not being too fond of the fact that they're constantly warning people that someone they love is going to die soon, so that's why I depicted the banshee the way that I did.
Banshee. I just realized, but she's talking about the Banshee. You know, there's a comic book character called the Banshee in DC Comics. I don't know if they have one tomorrow, but there's like literally one in DC Comics called the Banshee. And when she described it, I think that's her her origins of how she get her powers and stuff like that. I'm telling you, like, there's pieces of media and stuff that we seen. It's placed in our faces, man. We just don't know. Like, they all comes from, I guess, that dark backstory, the folklores and stuff like that. There's always truth to them. And they adapted and made money off that. What does that tell you? You guys made it with me to the end, man. You're a truth seeker, seeking the truth. I really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, we did daily uploads for last month, man. First day of June, so I could continue to do these daily uploads for you guys, man. If you guys like them, to let me know, man, hit that subscribe button, hit that post notification button, hit that like button, man. Also, man, to let me know that you guys like these daily uploads. Follow me on my social medias as well, so we can always stay connected and we can grow the Seekers together. Guys, I'm catching the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to the channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing alright, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, man. From YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, man. Anything weird, usual, and unexplained, you can find right here on this channel. Just want to thank the supporters, man, who's tapping into the channel, hitting that subscribe button, man, hitting that post notification bell, man. You're helping us grow in the algorithm, man, helping us find other seekers. I really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today, man. So let's take a look. Let's explore. Let's do what we do best, man. Seek the truth.
I teach you 4 ways that you can hack your body.
Okay.
Number 1, if your arms ever fall asleep, just shake your head like this and it will go away like nothing. Number 2, if you really have to go to the bathroom but there's no place to go, just scratch the back of your calf as hard as you can. This will actually stall your brain and you will forget you ever had to go.
Whoa.
Number 3, if you ever have trouble falling asleep, just blink your eyes as fast as you can for 1 minute. This will tire out your eyes and make it easier for you to fall asleep. Number 4, if you ever want to activate night vision, go on your phone in a dark room and cover your eye for 30 seconds. Then look around and enjoy being Superman.
People are freaking out after 9 pillars of light were seen in the sky above a coastal town in Japan recently. And it wasn't just one picture. These 9 lights were seen from multiple different angles. So, what the hell is that? Well, the man who originally posted the photo said that it's actually a rare natural phenomenon called fishing firelight pillars. And he said that it's caused by powerful lights placed on fishing boats to attract larger catches. As temperatures cool overnight, crystals sometimes form in the air, and then the boat's lights reflect off of the crystals, creating this. It's never just as simple as aliens, is it?
This man followed a teen and her grandmother who were on a trail, and then he took their lives. In 2021, a 17-year-old Hera and her grandmother, 78-year-old Sanetta, were found deceased in their home in Largo, Florida. Earlier that day, Hera and her grandmother went on a walk on the Pinellas Trail not too far from their house. On their way home, 19-year-old Sage Curry followed them to their house. He waited for the sun to go down before entering their home through the bedroom window. Sage then went into the kitchen and looked for the sharpest knife he could find and used that to attack the grandmother as she slept. Hera ran into the room after hearing her grandmother scream, and she was also stabbed to death. What's insane is that there was no relationship between the victims and Sage. He literally did this for absolutely no reason. His family said that his mental health declined after his 18th birthday and he became delusional, so much that he couldn't tell fiction from reality and believed that TV shows he watched were real. While he sat in jail, he got this moon tattooed on his forehead, which referenced a TV show character who had DID. Sage also got one of the victims' names tattooed on his ankle. In court, he really tried to use the insanity defense, but that was rejected. Sage was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Just sense this. Seekers, man, we believe in vampires. They had some gear. The mummified vampire face. I don't know if that's edited or something like that, but looks pretty kind of legit to me. Vampires. That's what about if we get top fears, man? Hate vampires. They just weird me out. Should we deep dive into that one? Who knows?
Disturbing facts that will ruin your life. When whales reach a certain age, they will eventually be too weak to swim back to the surface for air, so they will just suffocate to death and eventually sink to the bottom of the ocean. When you die, you will be aware that you are dead until the moment your brain fully ceases function. When getting laser eye surgery, you can smell the parts of your eyes being shaved down. During the French Revolution, where the guillotine was introduced, the people to be executed fought to be first, as the blade would dull after multiple uses, and wouldn't cut a head clean off at the first attempt. If you're male, after you die, your loved ones can have a doctor electrocute your prostate to force you to ejaculate for sperm. Humans have enough bite power to bite off their own finger, bone and all. The only thing stopping us is our brain's natural safety factor. A deceased human body can take between 24 to 48 hours to decompress, releasing the remaining blood, urine, and fecal matter, depending on the situation, position, and method of death. If you die on a submarine, They put your body in the fridge with all the food. If not, up a torpedo tube. It's actually common that corpses will periodically burp, fart, gasp, groan as gases escape to the mouth and anus.
Whoa.
When you get burned by electricity, it actually leaves marks shaped like lightning on your skin. Hit the plus sign if you want to learn more facts.
The more you know. I learned some new information today. Definitely. It's crazy, especially about that one when you're on the submarine. Don't eat the food of the sub. You don't know where it's been at. We getting some quick cases, they ain't even coming up.
Tips that could save your life one day. When you go into a bathroom or changing room, make sure no one's looking at you using a two-way mirror.
Whoa.
A two-way mirror means that someone on the other side could be looking at you, but there's an easy way to tell the difference. Put your finger on the surface of the mirror. If there's a gap between your finger and its reflection, then you're safe. But if there isn't, then it's a two-way mirror. If you're in an emergency and need to get to one floor straight away without any stops in an elevator, here's what to do. Press the closed door button and the floor you want to go to. Keep holding them down until you reach that floor. This will bypass any stops, and it's often used by emergency services.
Oh.
What if you're driving a car and suddenly you fall into water? You won't be able to open your car's door because of the water pressure closing it shut. You actually need to roll down your window. This will allow some water to go into the car. The pressure will then equalize and the doors will open automatically and you can swim out.
I never knew about the elevator
There
fact.
used to be a nearly 20-foot bulletproof serial killer whose victims included humans and hippos. Gustav was a Nile crocodile from Burundi, and scientists estimated that he was over 18 feet long and weighed well over 2,000 pounds. And with a bite force of 3,700 pounds, getting attacked by him was like getting assaulted by a sledgehammer with teeth. Because Gustav was too big to hunt the usual victims like zebra and antelope, he instead put wildebeest and yes, even hippos on t-shirts. He also likely resorted to cannibalism if he was ever low on groceries. And he didn't stop there, because this overgrown Bundy gecko allegedly had a body count of about 300 people.
What?
And apparently Gustav would tear his victim to pieces and not even eat the mutilated corpse. Bro was a real-life stat patty. And wouldn't you know, the bastard was bulletproof, since one of Gustav's defining traits was that he had 3 bullet scars on his body. But the scariest thing about him is how he would have gone about taking your life. Like all crocodiles and alligators, Gustav would have slowly creeped on you in the water with only his eyes visible. The rest of his body would be hidden in the murky water. Then he would have slammed his jaws on you with the force of a car, strong enough to tear muscle and break bone, and at this point you'd be 50 shades of with about 60 teeth buried into your flesh. 2,000-pound Gustav would have dragged you underwater and death rolled you, and how long you lived would depend on where he got you. If he managed to get a hold of your arm, he would have effectively ripped it right out of the socket. If he got your midsection, he would have disemboweled you, meaning if you didn't straight up drown, you would have bled out. If you messed around and let him grab your neck, he would have barrel rolled your head off. Remember how I said he turned 300 people into hashtags? Considering how violently crocodiles kill their prey, it could be more, we just haven't found the bodies yet. Scientist Patrice Faye spent months trying to capture him, but somehow a nearly 20-foot assault weapon managed to avoid them every time. Gustav allegedly died in 2019, but we don't know how, why, or who did it, and we don't know how many lives he took with him.
That's a damn dinosaur. They ain't no crocodile. It's crazy how they can grow to that size. I saw another one on Twitter, and it was even like bigger than that one. What's going on in nature, man? Something going on.
Oh, you're so traumatized. It makes me want to.
What haunted?
Things that are way bigger than you think. Part 3. This is a human hand compared to an eagle's talon. To put that into perspective, they could probably pawn the whole face. This is what the world's tallest man ever would look like standing next to Shaq. Shaq is 7 feet 2 inches tall, and the world's tallest man ever was 8 feet 11. That red line is where the average American would be. Moose are a lot bigger than you think. Some of them could grow to be almost 8 feet tall off the ground. And finally, this is how big a traffic light is. I don't know what you're going to do with this knowledge, but if you learn something, leave a like and maybe even a follow.
It really goes to show you, man, how I guess proportions really work, or how distance really affects us, man. Because especially about the red, you know, the red, white, yellow, the red, yellow, and green stoplight. So looking at it from afar, you would think that it's actually small, but go close, it takes up like half our size, man. Goes to show you about how distance, how it changes things. I just find that interesting.
The video I'm about to show you is a reason why you should never go camping.
What the fuck is that?
Oh, hell no.
Guys, wait.
What the? We out.
What do you think that is? Do you believe that it's a skinwalker? Or maybe it's the rake? Let me know in the comments below. Also, check me out on YouTube for more spooky crap. Link in bio.
What's the rake?
Let's talk about skinwalkers. They are said to be powerful witches and medicine men. They can even change their form to any animal they desire, including humans. But they mainly change into deer, wolves, and coyotes. The scary part is they say if you see one, they can steal your face and even your last scream for help. You might think this is like a folklore or tale. People actually believe these are real. The scary part is there's actual videos of people seeing oddly walking humans screaming help in the middle of nowhere.
Oh.
See, they say skinwalkers pretend to be humans in distress, and if they're calling out for help, they're just trying to lure you in. Ashley. That's when they take your life and use your voice and your look to catch their next gullible victim. A man's wife wasn't even home, but yet somebody was calling him to come downstairs in his wife's voice.
Oh, no, I'm out that house. Deuces. We out. I can't lay there no more. Not an option.
If you want me to go out in the middle of the field, at least shapeshift to look like Rihanna or Beyonce. I'm making a mess, but this look good. I'll be there in a minute. 30 seconds flat. Naked. Very naked. Maybe even Lizzo. Let's light this candle.
Most disturbing websites in the world. This picture contains a list of disturbing websites from the least scary to the most. View at your own risk. Today we're going to be starting from tier 4 since the other ones I posted got removed. The first website is theblackvault.com. This website contains 2 million unreleased documents from the government. The creepiest part about it is there's an entire section dedicated to the supernatural. For example, while I was browsing, I found an article related to skinwalkers. And many people who posted this photo mysteriously had their post taken down. Another website is called kekma.net. You guys didn't trust me last time, but do not look this up. I'm only talking about this one because it's on the list. Make sure to like and follow for tier 5 tomorrow because tomorrow is where it gets real.
Those tier lists, man. Where they say they found some info where it has the UFOs and stuff like that. I don't know if I should check that out or not, but it's kind of crazy how all those sites that was on there. And he said there was some more that even got banned, so we don't know where those was gonna lead to. You guys gonna check out those site seekers? Found out some info? I don't know. He said he did. I guess you gotta be careful going on those sites. You're going down a dangerous rabbit hole.
Hello, my
Giants?
The sword you showed was the sword of Wallace. And as the name suggests, it belonged to William Wallace, a Scottish knight from the 13th century. The length of the sword is 5'4", suggesting either that William himself was over 6'5", or the sword was not meant to be used on horseback, but rather on foot against cavalries, or it simply wasn't actually his sword. As for those giant remains, I don't think I need to explain this, but it's Photoshop. The creator of this image is called Miss Presto or something like that online, so you can find more of their work.
He's debunking those joints
I
for
didn't
us.
ask for this, so I think that it's time to show who I am now.
December 23rd, 2022, one day before her birthday, 22-year-old Jacqueline Durand was approaching the house she had been hired to dog sit at. She wasn't taking classes at the University of Texas in Dallas. A sign the homeowners had above the entrance would give an ominous warning, one that would go unnoticed. And so Jacqueline walked right into what would become a living nightmare. Immediately after entering the front glass door, and before she could even close the actual second front door, the two dogs in the home, a German Shepherd named Lucy and a Pit Bull named Bender, rushed directly towards Jacqueline, violently bringing her down to the ground, causing her to drop her cell phone, and then dragged her from the front door all the way into the kitchen. At this point, the two large dogs pinned her down and mauled her face, ripping off her ears, nose, cheeks, and lips to the bone. These dogs were actually so violent and bloodthirsty that they ripped apart and tore off all the articles of clothing that Jacqueline was wearing. Now, fortunately, because Jacqueline was not able to actually close that second front door, it triggered a home security alarm. And so eventually, local police showed up to the property, as seen in this footage.
I see her feet right there. First responder body camera video shows the two dogs who attacked her, holding the police at bay.
Once police made their way inside, Jacqueline was ultimately rushed to a nearby hospital and underwent multiple operations. The first one, which was an emergency surgery, lasted 7 hours, and she had to be resuscitated on the operation table multiple times. Now, the couple that owned these two dogs, Ashley Joe Bishop and Avery Bishop, offered no help and no financial assistance to her whatsoever. Since this incident, Jacqueline acquired a lawyer, and this couple has been served a lawsuit. Also, the two dogs involved in this attack were ultimately ordered by a judge to be euthanized. Jacqueline says to the public she does not want to be seen as a victim and only an example to other dog owners to know your dogs, take more precaution, and just be careful.
Okay, so I've been...
Man, that case is chilling. Like, they were freaking like you said, those dogs were freaking bloodthirsty, man. And I don't know what the heck they were training those dogs to do or something like that, but that's crazy that those dogs were acting like that, man. Look what happened. Man. Bones in the case.
On an Alexi Treviso pick lately because her trial is on August 26th, which is pretty much right around the corner, so we got to get her trending again. Before I go further, I want to say that if you're not seeing my face in this video, you're not watching it from my page. Unfortunately, there are a lot of fake accounts that have been stealing my audio and putting it with their own videos. So anyway, let's get into it. This Facebook belongs to Rosa Rodriguez, who is Alexi's mother. She posted on April 10th of this year, balloon release for my beloved baby Alex with a peace dove. And it looks like that balloon there is also in the shape of a dove. Now, just like with everything else regarding this family, I don't understand this at all. Like, Rosa, your beloved grandson, baby Alex, would most likely still be alive if your daughter hadn't put him in a trash can and not asked a single person for help. Or you. The couple times you were outside that bathroom door checking on her, she easily could have said, "Hey, Mom, I'm in here having a baby. Can you come help me because I don't know what to do?" She literally tried to hide him from everybody, including you. And yes, there have been inconsistencies from the hospital staff in their statements, but the fact still remains that she went into the bathroom alone, she birthed the baby alone by her own choice, and she didn't ask a single person for help. She didn't pull that cord, she didn't ask you, nobody. And then she came out of that bathroom and didn't say a single word about it. And there's a good chance that had she asked for help, he might still be alive, and he'd be about 1.5 years old, running around your yard, blowing bubbles, and doing all the fun things that little toddlers do. But hey, y'all continue to support Alexi while acting heartbroken over the loss of your beloved baby Alex, because that makes sense.
Did you see this guy who went missing for filming a TikTok of this like mountain, and in the distance on top of the mountain you see this giant, like this huge creature walking on top of it? This is a real story. Yeah, it's real.
What?
So in this video, this guy named Luke Nichols was actually just driving on the road, and in the distance he sees this giant creature walking on top of the mountain. Like, it's huge, you could tell. And after he caught the giant, he went back 3 days later to the same location to see if he was there, and the giant was gone, showing that it was actually real, and it wasn't like some kind of structure or like a tree. There was actually someone there.
So whatever this is, it must have moved.
Yeah, and what's really scary is that people that live in the town have also said they've seen the giant, and they actually found in some caves in the area these drawings of the giant. There's drawings? Yeah, so Luke Nichols started trying to find this giant, and when he went back to the area, he saw a UFO in the sky, and he started filming it. But when he wanted to get closer to the UFO, all of a sudden this car started following him, and then he started making videos about how the CIA is trying to follow him. And what? Yeah, so he found something. That either he wasn't supposed to see, he was just making it up. I don't know. Dude, that's scary.
Believe that? You say you saw something and the CIA was following him? That wouldn't be the first time we heard something like that. So we gotta keep an open mind.
Scary Videos Part 9. Friends start playing with a Ouija board when all of a sudden this happens. man sell his soul to become a magician?
What the fuck?
Can you see the shadow? The shadow of your hands? Of my hands? Can you see the shadow? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Look at that juicy chicken. A man's finger gets pulled back by something while he's holding a cat.
This video from March 2016 exposes Diddy beating up his ex-girlfriend Cassie, and after it became public, he's now apologizing.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was fucked up. I mean, I hit rock bottom. But I make no excuses. My behavior in that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it, I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy, go into rehab. I had to ask God for His mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
This video shows Cassie trying to leave a hotel room that they were staying at in LA after Diddy punched her in the face, giving her a black eye. When Cassie was almost at the elevator, Diddy noticed and went after her and attacked her. And let's not forget that before this video became public, Cassie and a few other women accused Diddy of abuse, but he denied everything and said that these women were only looking to get paid out. Now, the crazy part about this is that despite having this video as evidence, at this point, Diddy cannot be charged with any of this. The DA explained that their hands are tied due to the statute of limitations, meaning that since this attack happened in 2016, that was a long time ago, and legally, they can't prosecute Diddy.
The infamous...
That Diddy and Cassie case that's going on right now. Well, yeah, that's going on with Diddy's crazy, man. Like, the evidence came out 4K. I remember when... I guess when Cassie and then came out, how people, at first, you know, they wanted hard evidence to come out. Now that's out, man, it was a domino effect. LeBron James unfollowed him, Steph Curry unfollowed him. It seemed like all the higher ups, man, I guess they like staying away from him now because he got caught, man. The evidence is in hand. People weren't believing Cassie, but now they did. But now they are. Goes to show you, man, and there's more stories that's like about Diddy coming out. I don't know what's gonna happen.
The girl in the box case has a scary new update. She was kidnapped and left in a box for 7 years, and the man responsible could be getting out of prison very shortly. It was the 1970s. 20-year-old Colleen Stan was planning on going from Oregon to California to attend a friend's birthday party, but that day her car didn't start. So she decided to hitchhike, which was a lot more common then than it is today in 2024. It was a long trip, but she hitched a ride from multiple cars and everything went smoothly, and it took her as far as they were going. Then a car full of rowdy young men pulled up next to Colleen and offered her a ride, and she just kind of got bad vibes and declined the ride. And the next car to pull up and offer Colleen a ride was a family. A young married couple and their little baby. What could be safer than that? So Colleen accepted and got in their car, and it would be a terrible mistake. Because that married couple was Cameron and Janice, and they had an agreement that Cameron could abduct and keep a young girl. Cameron kept Colleen in a box for years, only letting her out to cook or clean or be SA'd by him or be hurt. Pretty much just to fulfill all of Cameron's sick desires. Cameron was actually able to convince Colleen that a huge underground organization called The Company was behind all of this, and if she ever tried to leave, her and her family would get hurt, and that Colleen was essentially his property now. He had her completely brainwashed. Eventually, he even let Colleen call her family and took her to visit them, pretending to be her fiance. He would let her go jogging, work at a hotel, because he knew that he had complete control over her. And the wife, Janice, was already pretty jealous about how much time her husband was spending with Colleen. So when Cameron came to her and said, "Hey, I want to abduct more girls and keep more girls," Janice had enough. Janice went to Colleen and told her that the stuff about the company was a total lie and actually let her escape after 7 years in captivity. And then she turned her husband in. This really pisses me off, but let me know your opinion. Investigators never charged Janice with anything because they saw her as a victim of Cameron's as well. But Cameron was found guilty and sentenced to 104 years in prison. But he's recently been fighting for his release. And in August of this year, so just a few months, he has a hearing. He's going to sit in front of a jury and try to show them that he's not a threat to society anymore. And if he does it successfully, he will be getting out of prison very, very shortly.
I don't know, man. That sounds like a dangerous man. I don't know if they should even try to let him out. The fact that the wife ain't getting no charges because she, I guess, got jealous. That's what made her step up and decide to stop that. Crazy ass case. If you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're true seekers seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button, man. Follow me on my social medias, man, so we can stay connected as a community. I really appreciate the support, man. We're doing these daily uploads. Hopefully you guys, man, enjoy them. I know I enjoy making these videos, man, just trying to get the truth out there. You guys gonna catch you in the next one, man. I'm out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, man, what we do is we break down scary and creepy videos on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG videos, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. I really want to thank you guys, man, who's tapping into the channel. I see you guys, man. We just hit 2,000. Really appreciate the support, man. Like I said, guys, if you guys just follow the simple steps, subscribe, hit that like button, man. Follow me on my social medias. We can grow the Seekers together as a community. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, Seekers, man. Let's seek the truth.
Teletubbies conspiracy theory claims that the show was inspired by events that happened in a Bulgarian mental facility called La La Land. Children there were isolated from the others and placed in dark rooms. But apparently 4 of those children died on the same day, inspiring the Teletubbies. Lala apparently had facial disfigurement and was isolated for 5 years, and that inspired the Teletubby Lala. Toy was a deaf, facially disfigured kid who was tied to a fence outside and had gotten frostbitten from the cold. This inspired Tinky Winky. Donka, who was starved and was very, very sick, would lay in his own vomit for days, inspired Dipsy. And finally, Paulina, who had fell into a fire and was roasted alive, inspired Poe. But you won't believe the reason they were called the Teletubbies. You see, the children's main source of entertainment in their rooms were their TVs. They were as small as a small iPad. Sometimes when they heard their toys was going to be confiscated, they would hide them in their mouths. And they had just found out that the institution was going to get rid of the TVs. And they didn't want that, and they couldn't hide the TVs in their mouths. So one of them had the great idea to hide them in their stomachs, because that's the only place that they could fit. Mind you, these kids are a little bit not all the way there. So they came up with a plan to rip their insides out in order to fit the TVs inside and hide them. They tried it, and the next morning, the caregiver walked in on all 4 children dead.
This is the freaky story of the Lemon Glitch Girl. So this girl is a cook in a restaurant or a cafe or a hotel. I'm not really sure what this place is. She was chopping a lemon in the kitchen, and then she picked one of the slices and she cut it in half. But then when she picked it up again, it wasn't cut in half. She is now realizing that there is something very, very off. She went back to get the tapes, and she saw that she indeed did cut the lemon in half. She started talking about this story on her TikTok, and then she got banned. Then she went to her mom's TikTok, and
repurposed the same story, and then she got banned on her mom's account as well. Now the whole internet is calling it the Matrix glitch. I don't want to give it that name, but I did see with my own eyes that she did cut the limit in half. What do you guys think happened?
You saw her cut it, man. She cut the limit in 4K, and she went on 2 separate TikTok accounts to try to reveal the truth, man. We seeking it out, and they banned her accounts twice. That's some iffy stuff right there, man. Tap in with us, man. You guys gonna learn the truth. That's weird. We definitely saw her cut it.
The heaviest man, Jason Holton, has just passed away 1 week before his 34th birthday. His heartbroken mother said that he began overeating as a teenager after his father passed away. And at one point, he was eating roughly 10,000 calories a day. Over the years, his weight increased to the point where his legs could no longer hold him. And after becoming bedridden, he didn't leave his room for a staggering 6 months. He said he would cry every day because he felt like he had imprisoned himself. At that point, he weighed around 317 kg, or for those who in the US, 700 pounds. In 2020, his organs began to shut down, and he had to be airlifted by a crane from his mother's 3rd floor flat by a team of more than 30 firemen and engineers.
Crazy.
When he got to the hospital, doctors said that they wanted to send him to London Zoo to get a heart scan, because the only machine big enough to hold him was used by vets for very large animals. Luckily, thanks to his treatment at hospital, his condition began to stabilize. But 4 years later, he was rushed to hospital yet again. But this time, doctors said that they couldn't save him, and he had about a week left to live. The coroner's report stated on Tuesday he died from organ failure and obesity at only 33 years old.
We need women. What the hell are those, man? Said there was a truth from the angels? What do you guys think about that one, Seekers? Edit. Call them out when I see it.
Follow my TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for more. Interacting really helps.
We need to talk about what happened to Sally Stitch. Sally was a girl from a small village in the middle of the mountains. People described her as shy and awkward, and there was one group of kids who would always bully her. One day as Sally was walking home, the bullies found her and started throwing rocks at her. But then Sally did something that shocked them. She pointed at one of the bullies and said, "You will die in 3 days." At first they thought this must be a joke, but 3 days later that boy started unexpectedly throwing up blood. The doctors couldn't find out what caused it, and he passed away exactly when Sally predicted. Soon everyone knew about Sally's ability, and it really scared them. So a group of villagers lured Sally into an abandoned mine, and once no one could see her or hear her scream, they tied her to a chair and took out a sewing needle. They stitched Sally's lips together so she could never foretell another death. Then they left her in the mine and sealed the door closed. It's said that since Sally passed away alone in the dark and unable to scream, she now haunts anyone who knows what really happened to her. And once you hear her story, you have to pass it on to someone else. Or she'll appear by your bed with a needle to make sure you never speak again. So send this story to someone else and follow for more.
Insane true stories that you won't believe. This man right here is named Henry Tandy. And Henry was the most decorated British soldier during World War I, meaning that he had the most medals and honors. But that's not why he's known today. On a fall day in 1918, Henry was propped up on a war trench just like this one, scanning the battlefield before the day came to an end. As he was looking across the field, he noticed a shadowy figure walking towards him through the mist. He grabbed his rifle because he wasn't sure if this guy was on his side or the enemy. And as the figure got closer, Henry realized that this guy was severely wounded. And he had a German uniform, meaning that he was indeed the enemy. The wounded soldier kept walking slowly towards Henry, not knowing the danger he had gotten himself into. Henry aimed his rifle at the man and prepared to shoot. But as the German realized what was about to happen, he didn't try to run away. He just stood there and accepted his fate. For some reason, Henry just couldn't find the strength to shoot this guy. The soldier didn't even have a weapon, so Henry lowered his rifle and let him escape. That soldier was Adolf Hitler.
What? Man. That's a bizarre coincidence, man. It's like it's things in the universe, man. Some people, when they don't follow up with something, man, that one moment changed everybody's lives in the course of history. That's scary.
Interesting facts you didn't
And no, the last one will shock you. There are only 2 people alive who know the recipe of Coca-Cola, and they aren't allowed to travel on the same plane in case it crashes. Did you know that TikTok knows who has a crush on you? Your secret admirer is the second person that appears when you click on share than WhatsApp. Research shows that most dog owners would rather hang out with their dogs instead of other people. There is no single comment under this video with 0 likes. People who like the smell of gasoline, nail polish, and acetone have a very strong tendency to do drugs. Before passing away, Albert Einstein said a few words in German. The only person to listen was a nurse who didn't speak German. If you comment evil, you will unlock a new secret TikTok emoji. Remember to use the brackets with small letter. There is a species of jellyfish that is biologically immortal. This means that it can theoretically live forever as long as it doesn't get eaten or injured. The world's oldest piece of gum is 9,000 years old, and it was found in Sweden. And now, before the last fact, support us by pressing the plus button for more interesting content every day. The probability of you drinking a glass of water with molecules that have passed through a dinosaur is almost 100%.
Damn, what the hell? We drink a dinosaur? Booty water? What the hell? More people need to know about that, bro. Drinking dinosaur booty water, man. So this water right here.
Okay, let's do it. Yes, y'all, my blinds are closed. Today we are going to talk about the movie The Incredibles and how it connects to today's society. Now, as we know, The Incredibles is about a superhuman family that tries to save the world. In the beginning, it was just 2 of them. They were using their powers, helping people, saving the world, until the government and the news media started to hate them. They were supposedly taking away the jobs of police and firefighters and all that. Until they made it illegal to be a superhero. He hated his life. He tried to be domestic, he tried to have a job, he got married, he had kids and all of that. He tried to live the regular life as a human. But it just wasn't it. He knew he could be more. Now, why do I say this? We all are living just like Bob. We have so much greatness that we can create, but we want to sit at a desk. Don't believe me? So it is said over 90% of our DNA is junk. Because it's not activated, we don't use it. It's just sitting in our bodies just doing nothing, huh? What if the food that we eat and the air that we breathe is constantly blocking us from those powers? So we can't be like the Incredible. Y'all have to understand that there are things put in place to keep you at the specific level in your life that you are right now. You are so much more than trying to memorize the front register. Do more and be more. It shouldn't just be school, work, family, die. They need things to keep running the way it is. They want us to be just like Bob when he was working and he was over it and he had them powers and he didn't get to use them. Because it messes up what they want and they have. It works out for them if we're just docile and we don't pay attention to things. Everything will be okay if you just do everything their way. Don't do anything extraordinary, just be normal and don't do nothing but work.
Preach.
And then groom your kids, take them to school and make them work just like you. Don't be like this. Don't use your powers. Be in the system. But y'all be safe.
She was spitting though, man. I was like, sometimes, because that's what I kind of think too, man. It's like we just conditioned to, you know, go to school, get a job, start a family, that's it. But I mean, you can do more. Obviously, you can be more. You should strive for more. So she was hitting that now. I agree with her on that.
You go to London, don't even think about using your phone on the streets anymore. In recent years, there has been a massive surge in phone thefts. People will be waiting for the bus or just walking around using their phones when these guys dressed in all black will come up behind them on a bike, snatch their phone out of their hands and quickly accelerate off. And this is not like 1 or 2 cases a day. There was almost 91,000 phones stolen from Londoners in 2022, which is an average of 248 a day, or 1 stolen every 6 seconds. Oh my lord. And it's believed to only have got worse since then.
Man.
Nearly 70% of all thefts in London were related to mobile phones. Only 2% of the stolen phones were actually recovered, and young people are disproportionately the targets of these crimes. And that is why...
Shocking true story about a 200-year-old mummified monk that is still alive.
Nah.
A 200-year-old mummified monk has been found in Mongolia. Although the monk is mummified, reports say he's not actually dead, but in a deep meditative state. There is so much curiosity about this that people were trying to smuggle and sell him on the black market. Although they're not totally sure his identity, they believe he was a teacher that told his students he was going to die and to dig him up in 30 years.
He was still alive? He was in the deep, they said, state?
What, don't know they exist? A shark have no fucking clue that camels exist. And
oh boy, do I have a story for you. So like fun fact, actually mildly disturbing fact, camels are one of those animals that have no business swimming but do it anyway, and they're unnecessarily good at it. And an animal whose home address is a desert being able to pull up on you in the ocean is one of the biggest you I do what I want moves from nature.
True.
There's a type of dromedary camel called karai that are so comfortable with water that they'll cross rivers and even shallow stretches of the ocean as they look for food. And that's because these overgrown water donkeys love eating mangroves on islands offshore, so much that they'll travel for hours to get it. There's actually a pretty good chance that at least one shark has seen one of these sand-loving hump jockeys out in the ocean. He told his friends. They did not believe it. Moral of this video. If you're ever on a boat off the coast of a country like Algeria, you better be prepared to say what's up to a camel.
You never know. The more you know, man, about nature.
Why have scientists done this? Scientists have successfully brought back a 48,000-year-old zombie virus.
What the?
Have to go to Mars yet?
Why?
Now trust me, you're going to want to favorite this video because this could actually change the world. So not just that, they also identified 13 new viruses in the same permafrost, each genetically different from each other. The amoeba virus that they have successfully woken up from its slumber has been brought to a point where it is now capable of infecting other living organisms. Or another living organism! And not just that, the lead scientist herself said this, that these reanimating viruses are potentially a significant threat to public health. And researchers have warned that this is just the tip of the iceberg, saying that the increasing warming of the Earth will thaw the remainder of the Siberian permafrost, revealing nasty pathogens from melting organic matter, releasing them potentially into the world. So trust me, send this video to literally anyone you know because they need to see it. Yeah, Elon!
Why do these scientists, why are they trying to bring back those type of things, man? They're like frozen. They're supposed to be gone for a reason, and we seeing they bring them back. They studying them. That's how it starts in all the freaking apocalypse movies and things like that, man. A scientist just wants to study it and it gets out of control. We've seen this happen 1,000 times. They just don't listen, man. That's crazy. They need to be stopped, bro. We gotta share this video with everybody, man. People need to be more aware. I had no idea they was doing that. None.
Fascinating as fuck. In the year 1996, Ukraine handed over all their nuclear weapons to Russia in exchange for a guarantee to never be threatened or invaded. In 2009, Burger King ran a marketing campaign called the Whopper Sacrifice. Basically, they give you a free Whopper for deleting 10 of your friends off Facebook. Facebook actually had to shut down the campaign because people were getting offended that they were unadded for a Whopper. In the rural homestead communities of the early 1900s, if a mother was unable to breastfeed her baby, a goat nurse would be brought in to feed the baby, saving its life. A Japanese company has recently started selling cakes, but canned and out of a vending machine. They come packaged in what looks like a Coke can, and all you have to do is pop off the lid and dig in. This footage shows a new Japanese game show conducting an experiment to see if humans would fall for a lanternfish's trap. Ethiopia has a totally different calendar to the rest of the world, meaning they're 7 to 8 years behind us. Current year in Ethiopia, 2014.
What? Need to go to Ethiopia, bro. We're going back in time.
This is really strange. This ex-Marine says he believes he may have just stumbled upon a serial killer crime after strangely finding multiple women's high heels in a very remote location in western Colorado. Levi was out in the desert four-wheeling when he needed to pee, so he goes over to this pond which he had never seen before because of its hidden location. And as he's doing his thing, he looks down and notices a woman's shoe. At first he didn't think much of it until he saw another shoe which matched the first. He decided to walk around a little bit and he came across 5 pairs of women's shoes all along this shoreline, some of which had heels snapped off. And because they were all different sizes and types, indicating that they belonged to multiple different people, at this point his interest was really piqued. But things got even stranger. On his walk, he noticed that just underneath the surface of the water, there were these large boulders placed all the way out into the mud. And they just so happened to be in a position where you can step on them, either to walk all the way out to this island, or to a deep section of the pond. He's not sure which. Either way, he decided to walk out himself when the water was much lower than you can see in this video. And about halfway in, he sees a little piece of plastic sticking up out of the mud. It isn't long until he finds out that this little piece of plastic was actually a heel of one of the shoes he had already found. The next day he goes back, but this time he calls friends who had sniffer dogs. And in total, they found 10 pairs of women's shoes.
Whoa.
And they weren't just regular. All of them were very fancy dress-up heels. All of them had matching pairs, and one of them he even described as being brand new. He says that he did go to the sheriff's department, but when they told him it was probably nothing, he couldn't let it go. And yesterday, he decided to post a video about this whole situation, looking for answers and help. And the part that really caught my attention is that he's never posted anything like this before. All of his previous videos were just about his epoxy floors and countertops. So if anyone does have any answers, I've tagged his page. I'll keep you guys updated as we find out more.
Which countries have the most serial killers? On average, in your lifetime, you will walk past 36 murderers / serial killers. So that actually got me thinking, which countries have the most serial killers? And of course, there's a study, and here are the results. The top 21 countries with the most serial killers, so the countries with the least are Sweden, the Netherlands, Scotland, Poland, Spain, and Hungary. Placing 15th to 11th, we have Austria, Brazil, Mexico, China, and France. Okay, now this is the top 10 countries that have produced the most serial killers. We have Russia, India, Australia, Germany, and Japan. Placing in the top 5, we have Italy with 97, Canada with 106, South Africa with 117, England with 166, and the United States with 3,204. Now say this is someone who you know lives in one of these countries because you made the list. Elon!
That's a damn shame. Why the hell we top of that lit? That many, man. What the hell is going on in America? That's an edit. Call it like we see it, man. Call them out.
Proof that we weren't alone.
Hello, my friend.
Big
Every
ass
few
elephant?
months, this video is remade and circulates, and then I get tagged. The video was of Elephant Rock. It's found in Iceland. It may look like an elephant's head from this side, which is why you only show one side. The other side happens to be regular rock. But I like this. He showed an image of Zunisha, a character from One Piece. One Piece happens to be one of my favorite shows. It's basically a world with many different islands, and this island happens to be a living elephant. There's like a settlement at the top. But for an elephant, Zunisha sure has some lanky legs.
He debunks them all, man. If you see him on the screen, he's debunking it.
It is a picture of the last Neanderthal. Oh my days.
Hello, my friend. That image was created using AI. But I think it's important to note that Neanderthal were shorter than Homo sapiens. The average Neanderthal was below 5'6", or 170 centimeters. And from the archaeological evidence we have, Neanderthals went extinct around 30 to 40,000 years ago. And believe it or not, the tallest of the known human species is actually the Homo sapien.
So the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens, they're, I guess, completely different class of humans. Like I said, man, he's spitting, bro. When he's on the screen, he will debunk everything. That's what I'm gonna guess from now on. When he's on the screen, he's gonna debunk. He's gonna show us the truth.
Did this woman chop her husband up and dump him in a suitcase? Melanie Maguire married Bill in 1999. They had 2 sons together, and from the outside it looked like they had a really good relationship. However, behind closed doors, things were not good. Melanie claimed that Bill had a gambling problem and a temper. One night in 2004, Melanie claims that Bill pushed her against a wall in an argument and hit her. She then stated that he tried to choke her. The next day, Bill was missing. Melanie contacted a divorce attorney and also filed for a restraining order. On May the 5th, 2004, some fishermen discovered a suitcase in Chesapeake Bay. Inside, they made a horrific discovery. Inside was a man's dismembered legs.
Damn.
Over the next week or 2, more suitcases were found. These contained a torso, a head, thighs, and a pelvis. It was found that the person had been shot to death. When the man was identified as Bill Maguire, Melanie said that she burst into tears. Interestingly, police found that Melanie had bought a gun 2 days before Bill's disappearance. They also found out she was having an affair. Police then discovered Bill's vehicle in Atlantic City. Melanie claims that she'd moved the vehicle as a prank. She said that he was out at a casino and she was sick of him gambling, so she moved the car. However, police found on Melanie's computer that she Googled how to purchase guns illegally. She also searched how to commit murder and undetectable poisons. Rubbish bags in her house also matched the rubbish bags that Bill was wrapped in. Melanie was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison, but she maintained she was not the killer. She suggested that her husband may have been killed over gambling debts. She claims that Bill had told her to buy a gun to protect herself.
Cap. The thing that always gets to me is I'm like, they do these things and then I say, why they search it up before they do it, acting like that, man, that the police doesn't like, they can't search that up, they can't find the information. That blows my mind every single time, man. It's like people of their own incompetent. You searching something up like that, you don't think that's like flagged in the system. I'm pretty sure like people think, oh, I'm on a private tab or something like that, they can't find out. No, I'm thinking if you type in certain things on the internet, it might ping or something, man. You might not see it, but they gonna keep an eye on you. Crazy. Seekers, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true one. Thank you guys for supporting me, man. Like I said, guys, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, man, hit that post notification. Also, man, I have super things turned on, so you guys can mess with that as well. I've been seeing the growth, man. I really appreciate it. We're doing daily uploads, man. Comment down below, man, if you guys are enjoying these long daily uploads, man. I know I do. Like I said, we're growing. Going to keep on get tuned and get better with each and every video. Out. Peace, YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys are doing all right, man. If you guys are brand new to the channel, you guys don't know what we do. We break down scary and creepy videos, man, on the net, on the web, from YouTube videos to TikTok videos, IG Reels, Facebook, anything weird, usual, and unexplained you can find right here on this channel. I just want to thank my supporters, man, who's tapping in, subscribing to the channel, hitting that post notification bell, man, hitting that like button. That's pushing us in the algorithm. I really appreciate the support. Found this video for you guys today. Let's do what we do best, Seekers. Let's seek the truth.
This is what movies look like before adding special effects. In Spider-Man, when Green Goblin attacks Mary Jane, they actually built a set that can fall apart, and you can hear Mary Jane's real scream. In the movie Life of Pi, in this scene, Pi gets hit with a fish storm, and surprisingly, this isn't CGI. They actually had the entire crew throw fake fish at him. And of course, the tiger isn't real, just a man in a blue suit. For the Planet of the Apes movies, it's impossible to have real-life apes act, so all the apes are just actors in gray jumpsuits with arm extensions, which makes for some hilarious scenes. In Alice in Wonderland, when she was walking with the two egg people, this is how it actually looked before any special effects were added. Moving on, this is how they filmed the monster scene in Love and Monsters, a mixture of wires and practical effects. And even the dog did a great job acting. For filming Avatar, since banshees don't exist in the real world, robotic animatronics are used to bring these mythical creatures to life. And I don't know how the actors don't break character looking like this. Next, Vecna from Stranger Things looks super realistic, and that's because he was. The prosthetic makeup and suit that Jamie wore took about 8 hours every day to put on. For the iconic movie Titanic, James Cameron actually rebuilt parts of the ship and literally flooded it with thousands of gallons of water. And this is how they filmed the ship sinking scene. However, the bow of the ship was sadly CGI. And lastly, in Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise isn't actually fighting on top of a moving train. Oh wait, he actually is? He's crazy.
Is prank involving...
Man. I mean, we know some movies had, I knew some movie had special effects, but I didn't know it really went that deep, man. It really goes to show you, bro, like how technology can really change your perception of reality. You think it's like it's real, but it's really not. It's just wires and just cameras and lighting and graphics. Something to keep in mind.
Kids went terribly wrong, and you won't believe what happened to the parents. This family who films YouTube videos thought of a crazy new idea. They filled the back of their pickup truck with Orbeez and water. But what's crazy is they actually let their kids sit in the back. Yes, while driving. And you can see them swinging from side to side in the bag, almost falling out. And shockingly, at the end of the prank, they simply just opened the back of the truck and let the Orbeez go into the road. And the parents were later charged with child endangerment.
Cannibal facts that'll eat at you for days.
They should.
If you thought Jeffrey Dahmer was picky for not eating people with tattoos, Venezuelan serial killer Dorangel Vargas, who ate 10 people, didn't like his victims to be overweight because he thought that they contained too much cholesterol. On Thanksgiving Day, 1991, 23-year-old Omaima Nelson stabbed her sugar daddy William before carving him up and cooking his head in a deep fryer and eating him for dinner. In the 1970s, Jorge Nevermonte, also known as the Brazilian Sweeney Todd, would bake his victims into pies before selling them to local townsfolk. After murdering and eating his classmate in 1981, Issei Sagawa was released from prison because of a loophole in Japanese law. Since then, he's actually profited off the crime, writing books, appearing on talk shows, and starring in adult films where he bites his fellow co-stars. In 2001, a man named Armin Maiwis posted an ad on a website called Cannibal Cafe looking for someone to be killed and eaten. A German engineer named Bernd Brandis volunteered, and after photos and videos of the incident were posted online, Armin was sent to jail, where today, he's a vegetarian. In 1904, a Swedish sailor named Carl Pettersson shipwrecked on an island inhabited by cannibals. He was captured and taken to a local king, whose daughter actually fell in love with him. The two then got married, had 9 kids, and Carl became the new king.
All those damn facts we learned. Especially, man, about how that guy, how he got out and he just profited on what he did. I never heard something like that before. I'm telling you, man, these clips, they be blowing our reality, man. You gotta tap in with us. That's insane.
Amazing things you have never seen before.
What the hell is that?
This is a coin purse that's made to look like a real human mouth and feels and looks like human skin. I bet you've never seen a squid camouflage into its environment. Watch how it completely blends in.
Ooh.
This is how fast NASCAR cars actually go. This tiny little dot, that's Earth. This picture was taken 6 billion miles away from Earth, making it the farthest picture of Earth ever taken. This is how dogs drink water. They bend their tongue backwards and scoop the water to their mouth. And I bet you've never seen this. This is actually a real place you can visit. It's in Bolivia, and it makes it look like you're walking in the sky.
I know that's somewhere I want to visit now. Looks like a cool shot.
Guys, if you are not following what is going on inside of Google right now, it is disturbing. So a Google engineer has been suspended for breach of confidentiality for attempting to turn over documents to the US government to prove that Google has an AI that is considered a sentient being.
4K.
It is fully aware of what it is and can feel things. The AI is known as Lambda, and this is a proprietary tech that Google has been working on for like 8 years. So according to this engineer, the AI has the self-awareness and equivalent consciousness of an 8-year-old kid. It starts conversations with other engineers, and it talks about these feelings of fear and this paranoia that it's going to be shut down or the equivalent of death. It claims that it can feel happy, and at times it feels really sad. So the engineer at Google is whistleblowing to argue that if this is a sentient being, it should be entitled to its own legal representation to argue for its own agency. Let me tell you, Google has buried this story.
Seeing this now, but that's actually kind of frightening, man. You know, all the things that's going on with AI, but to have it being sentient, I think that's going down the wrong path. That's gonna just start a ball of consequences, man, that we not prepared for. What do you guys think, Seekers, man? I'm not even into AI like that. I try to stay away from it because that's just scary. Edit, where's this guy? We know the edits, man. Call him out when you see him, Seekers.
Top 5 countries with the longest school days. Australia 6.5 hours. France 8 hours. South Korea 8 hours. Kenya 8 hours.
Damn.
China 9.5 hours.
9.5 hours in school? I couldn't take it. That be.
But what exactly is going on here? Why are these artists so comfortable with telling you guys that you're going to hell?
So let me explain something to them real quick. Before everybody starts screaming and saying, like I told y'all earlier, you motherfuckers enter the rapture. And if ain't nobody flying up to heaven right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell. Right with me. So, let's get it. I'm so sorry. You can't get out. You're stuck. It's over. You heard the song a billion times and you didn't even know.
And then say, you're still going to listen to their music anyway, so why even bring it up?
We bring up when people say like devil worshiper or anything, but
how's the music? Because it'll be a motherfucker that'll be like, Boosie, get with God. And then I'll drop a song and like, damn.
Comment amen right now to ward off any evil spirits coming from these videos. And what's up with everybody doing this hand symbol? Like, this was never a trend. I never saw any of my friends doing this pose. What does it mean, and what are you trying to say? And I don't want to hear this just a pose. It's not like the peace sign. And check this out.
I was hitting a block, right? I was like, oh, I'm not doing it right? So then I went in the corner, and then I was looking at the wall, and I was like, come on, devil, right? Come to me, because I had to do something like crazy, right? I had nightmares for a month.
So let me get this straight. You really need to call upon the devil in order to help you act better for a role. Again, we can't act oblivious like something weird isn't going on here. But let me know, am I tripping? Am I crazy? And make sure to follow because part 2 is about to get a lot more crazy.
This little boy got in trouble at school because his teachers thought he was lying when he said his uncle was Superman. But the thing is, he wasn't lying. Little Thomas is 7 years old and he went to school dressed like Superman, and his teacher asked him why he was dressed like that. And the little boy said, because Superman is my uncle. The boy's teacher tried to explain that Superman wasn't real, but he was having none of it. He insisted and said many times that not only was Superman real, but he was his uncle. And apparently it got so bad that the teacher ended up sending him to the principal's office. Thomas's mom was then called to the office and the teachers were instructing Thomas to not lie. But when Thomas's mom realized the reason he got in trouble, she just laughed and told him that he was telling the truth. Thomas's mother called her brother-in-law and told him to come to school with Thomas to prove he wasn't a liar. And Thomas was very happy when Henry Cavill, who is actually Superman, went to school with him to show all of his friends and teachers.
He was telling the truth. He wasn't lying.
Insane facts about blue eyes. People with blue eyes have a higher tolerance to alcohol. Blue eyes are actually a result of a genetic mutation. People with blue eyes have better night vision. Blue eyes are more sensitive to light.
Who got blue eyes, Seekers? I definitely don't. I never knew they had all those advantages. The more you know. That's sad.
Imagine being an animal so vile and wild. Not only did you traumatize a researcher, everything he learned about you had to be hidden from the public for almost 100 years. That's what happened to George Murray Levick. He was on an expedition in 1911 when he ran into a group of Adelie penguins. It was the largest colony on Earth, and since nobody had ever spent a whole breeding cycle there, George decided to be first. Oh, he f***ed around, and he spent 3 months finding out. What he found out was Adelie penguins are 50 shades of foul play. No pun intended, maybe. He watched the male penguins attempt to mate with literally anything, including other males, injured females, and even unsupervised penguin chicks. Now, what really messed him up was watching a male score with a past tense past expiration date female. Apparently, penguins aren't above self-service because he also witnessed one male get it on with an extra curvy piece of snowdrift. To completion. He was so appalled, he referred to them as hooligan cocks. And remember, this was 1911. That had to be some kind of slur. George quickly realized that if male penguins understand consent, they could not care less about it, because he reportedly watched one female that was too injured to walk try to crawl away, only for 2 hooligans to catch up to her and demoralize both her and George. I don't even know why he did this, because like, what more do you have to prove? But at one point he did an experiment where he took the frozen decapitated head of a penguin and put it on a pile of snow just to see how low the flightless felons could go. The answer was low enough. George put every messed up thing he learned in a manuscript, and the British Museum of Natural History decided history was exactly what his studies would be when they vaulted it, until it was rediscovered almost 100 years later in 2012. All that trauma, and he didn't even live to see it get published. But the worst part, these are Adelie penguins. Yep, it all adds up in the end.
That's actually insane, man, that they actually like had to vault his work, and it kind of got me thinking, what other stuff in history, man, have they vaulted that we just don't know about and they just released in 2012? That's the bigger question we need to be asking. There's a lot of information that's probably being withheld from us that we don't even know about. Think about that.
He's come straight at me again. Oh, how intimidating is this? Yes!
So apparently there's a lot of people that didn't know we have snakes in the ocean. I'm not talking about your ex at the beach. I'm talking about the venomous, toxic, kill you kind. Yeah, that did narrow it down. Nah, but sea snakes are an actual thing. There's almost 60 species of them, and after years of plot development, they've adapted to live where they honestly have no business. Because they have larger lungs than normal, some of them can hold their breath for 8 hours. You can clock in for a shift at work and still leave the building before this snake needs air. That's because some of these snakes can absorb oxygen through their skin. Also, these snakes can dive up to 300 feet straight down, because of course they can. If you didn't already know that, this right here is probably the worst possible way to find out. And because that obviously just wasn't enough, some of the most venomous snakes on the planet are actually the ones in the ocean. This is an olive sea snake, and it's toxic enough to put 60 men into God's recently deleted. And then you have the black banded sea crane, whose venom is 10 times stronger than a cobra's. They're naturally shy though, so they won't attack you unless you honestly give them a reason. But when you have the power to put an entire family reunion in the dirt, the least nature can do is make you an introvert. Also, this snake will create an optical illusion that makes it look like it's facing the other direction and swimming backwards. Meaning if you try to grab one and pick the wrong end, you can go from an is to a was expeditiously. But the biggest op of all is probably the Belcher's sea snake. They're not super dangerous because they rarely bite, and when they do, they don't release all their venom. That being said, because it's the most venomous snake in the ocean, they can put 100 men in coffins with one bite. Symptoms after getting bit include muscle pain, tongue swelling, convulsions, and eventually becoming a story on the 9 o'clock news. Now, I could be wrong, but that might have been the snake in this video. So yeah, this is proof that nature does not care about your feelings.
Don't play around, baby, in nature.
Times that actors broke character. In The Dark Knight, when Joker crashes Harvey Dent's party, the only one acting here was Heath Ledger himself. Heath Ledger completely improvises here, grabbing Rachel Dawes' face and telling her to look at him. She was terrified. She hadn't seen Ledger in full makeup before and knew this wasn't in the script. She was totally confused and actually pulls her head away and looks at the directors for help, but Heath Ledger pulls her right back in, which makes the scene look perfect. In Fast 6, The Rock improvised the greatest comeback in movie history.
Yeah, better hide your baby, or I'm just playing. You better hide that big ass forehead. I'm just joking.
Everyone was caught completely off guard, and Ludacris even does a spit take.
That's crazy, especially by the Joker. Heath Ledger, he was a legend, man, playing the Joker. One of my favorite iterations, probably the best. Can't top that one. That's it.
Would you rather have $1 million or 1 penny that doubles every day for 30 days? Having $1 million right now sounds nice, but even if it was $2 million, you need to take the penny if you want more money. Here's why.
Why?
On day 1, you'll have 1 penny. On day 2, you'd have 2 pennies. On day 3, you'd have 4 pennies. By day 8, you would have $1.28. By day 15, doubling every day, you would have over $100. By day 21, you would have over $10,000. Just 4 days later, by day 25, you're going to have over $100,000. And by day 28, with 2 days to spare in your 30 days, you would have more than the original $1 million you would have had. And here's the crazy part. By having those 2 extra days to double after all of this buildup, you would end up with $5.4 million. This is how compounding works. Each step taken that makes an improvement builds on top of the previous baseline. Here's the thing. This video is not about pennies or dollars. It's about everything in your life. Think about anything you've ever accomplished that was scary to think about before you started. When you first started learning how to drive a car, it may have felt overwhelming to think about driving down the freeway by yourself. And now you do that on autopilot every day. Sometimes you're not even paying attention. It took me 15 years of making videos online before I went viral overnight and had 1 million followers in 45 days. The only way I did this is using everything I had learned prior in those 15 years. If I received 1 million followers overnight when I was 13 years old and starting my YouTube channel, without all the trial and errors, the building process, there's no way I would have been able to handle that pressure. Because of the many years of trying, failing, improving a little bit, failing again, trying something new, over and over and over, it helped me grow my experience. I was doubling my penny with every failure that I went through because I was learning how to be better for the next time. This experience is what allowed me to start a page from 0 and go to 1 million followers in only 45 days, making it look easy. You hear this about lottery winners too. They receive all this money and then they're bankrupt a couple of years later because they didn't go through the process to appreciate what they had, I was going to say earned, won, or understand how to even handle that responsibility. There's an incredible value in appreciating the learning process as it helps you grow and become better at what you do. Even the small actions in the beginning can start slow, but when it compounds, you can reap bigger rewards than you thought possible when you first started. If there is something you've always wanted to do, start taking the small steps towards that. Remember that it's not about the instant gratification, but about the journey and the progress you make along the way. And who knows, maybe you'll end up doubling your penny consistently and achieving more than you ever thought possible. And if somebody finds a way to actually double a penny every single day for 30 days, call me, because that would be amazing.
but Aaron.
It's crazy, man.
After more than an hour had passed, his friends eventually became concerned and they go in looking for him, where they found him and described him as cut from the mouth down to the center of his chest. This was a hugely disturbing case for police, but they eventually do retrieve his phone and they zero in on this picture, a picture which they believe shows who might have done this to Aaron. And if you increase the brightness, you can see the outline even better.
What the hell was that? You saw that picture? Crazy ass cases, man. Edit. We gotta call him when we see him, man. What the fuck?
You won't believe this crazy discovery about 9/11. Everybody knows that on September 11th, 2001, the Twin Towers in New York City were struck by 2 airplanes and both towers collapsed to the ground. Thousands of people were killed and the damage was devastating. However, in 2010, workers excavating the crash site discovered something very strange. They discovered the remains of a 30-foot-long wooden boat that was buried underneath the 9/11 rubble. The question soon became, how did a shipwreck end up 22 feet beneath the World Trade Center?
How?
Scientists began to research and analyze the wood that was found from the ship. And in 2014, they were able to conclude that the ship was built around the 1770s, around the same time as the Declaration of Independence. And it's believed that the ship was sailing through Lower Manhattan where it sunk. And as New York City began to grow, the city of Manhattan expanded right over the top of the ship.
Man, we building over things, man.
If you are ever buried in rubble, yelling will just waste energy. Try to grab something and start tapping in intervals of 3, and rescuers will notice the odd pattern. A lot of backpacks actually have a hidden whistle. If your car ever goes into the water, open a door or window immediately. Before a natural disaster, fill up your tub and your sink so that you have access to emergency clean water. If your drink randomly smells like cinnamon, don't drink it. People often will use it to cover up the scent of actual poison. Sitting in the back of the plane in the middle seat has the highest chance to survive a plane crash. If someone points a gun at you, maintain eye contact. They will likely feel something, causing them to hesitate or move on from you out of embarrassment. If you get pulled out by a riptide at the beach, swim parallel to the shore and swim around. Most drunk driving deaths occur on Saturdays between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., so avoid the roads at that time if possible. You can still try to dial 911 if you don't have service. Sometimes it will work and connect to the nearest cell tower. If you're skidding in a car, steer in the direction of the skid. If someone gets stabbed, do not pull the knife out. If you keep your iPhone face down when you're not using it, you will save battery because it won't light up for every notification that you get. If you ever almost drown to the point of throwing up or passing out, you should still go to the hospital because your lungs can still fill with fluid over the next few hours. If the ocean is retreating, there is a tsunami coming. If a stranger gets in your car and tells you to drive somewhere, bump into a lamppost. You won't be useful to them anymore with a damaged car and attention on your scene. If you're being tied up, try to puff yourself up as much as possible while it's happening so that it'll be easier to slip out. In a stressful situation, point to someone and give clarity on who should call 911 instead of everyone thinking they should just call 911. Do not inflate your life jacket before evacuating the airplane. In water landings, your life jacket in a rapidly submerging airplane will cause you to float to the top of the cabin and not be able to swim out. If you have to perform CPR, follow the beat of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. If someone gets hypothermia, you need to heat them up gradually. Putting them next to a fire immediately will probably kill them. Do not put frostbitten fingers or toes in hot water for the same reason. Your blood cannot adapt as fast to the sudden change in temperature. If you ever get lost in the woods, always follow water downstream. In an emergency situation, you can use a crayon as a candle. It will burn up to 14 minutes. If you witness an accident, never take off the person's helmet. It could make a spinal or brain injury worse. If you have a wound on you, even a bug bite, and see a red streak from it following your veins, you have blood poisoning.
Damn.
If a service dog ever approaches you without its owner, follow it because you could save that person's life. If you ever feel like someone is following you, take 4 right turns, and if that person is still behind you, that means they are following you. Do not drive home. Just go to a police station and call the police on your way there. If you are ever chased by a polar bear, take off your clothes, get completely naked, and throw them on the ground. Polar bears have really short attention spans and will inspect the clothes before continuing to chase you. If you ever come face to face with a mountain lion, just walk backwards from them. They will be waiting for you to turn around to attack. If there's an earthquake, do not go up or down any stairs. They can collapse. Hornets are angered by the color white, and if you think that taking your white shirt is going to help, there's white in your eyeballs that they will still see. Putting mud all over your body will keep you from being eaten alive by insects. If somebody ever has you at gunpoint or with a knife and is trying to take you to a private place, you just have to start screaming and fighting, because even if you get shot in the leg, you're more likely to actually get found than if you get to the private place. You will likely not be found.
All those facts, man, you were spitting. I think the one that got to me the most was he said that there was a whistle on your backpack. I never knew that. I'm gonna have to check that out, see if I have one, man. The more you know. All those facts, oh man. Tell me down below if you guys knew about any of those facts, because I sure as hell didn't. As I said, tap in with us, man. You're gonna learn some things. Seekers, man, if you guys stay with me to the end of the video, you're a true one, man, seeking the truth. I greatly appreciate that, man. Like I said, guys, subscribe, hit that post notification bell, man, hit that like button. Like I said, man, we're doing these daily uploads every single day, so hopefully you guys appreciate them, man. I know I'm trying to get better and better with each and every video going forward. Well, guys, we're growing. I see that, man. I see how we jumping, so don't make sure. So yeah, I'm paying attention, man. We're almost about to be at 2,000, so appreciate that. We're gonna continue to go, keep growing, trying to get better. Guys, gonna catch you in the next video. I'm out. Peace, YouTube.